Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Camp. Camp is from England in the UK. So let's see what Camp has to say. Enjoy the interview.
Hello.
Hello Kambo, how are you?
I'm very good. How you doing, William?
I'm very well. Thanks so much for taking the time this evening for the interview. Thank you.
No problem at all. It's my pleasure.
So tell me how was your day today?
It's been a very relaxing day. Work wasn't too. I didn't have too much of a hectic schedule with client calls or anything. I usually run my classes on a Tuesday and a Thursday, so today I wanted to make sure I just, for the evening was keeping myself free for you, of course. So during the day I've been doing what I always do, which is I live in the countryside, so I like to connect with nature. My divine feminine side, the yin side, is very important, and I suppose we can speak about that today because energies is my thing, and bringing that all into balance is pretty much what I've learned. I've had to do, and so yeah, I've been just relaxing mostly and enjoying the sun. It's been very hot in the UK, so it's been about 33 degrees today, which Celsius, that is. As you know. I've just come back from Turkey a couple of weeks ago, as we was talking, and so it's a very similar kind of heat. Obviously, it feels a bit different in the UK, but luckily I have a lot of open countryside, so it's not like a city built up around here. So I like to go out and go for a walk and explore because there's miles and miles of countryside. So I get out because I work from home mostly.
So tell me where are you based in the UK?
So I'm in Kent. You probably know it, the southeast of England, often referred to as the Garden of England.
And that's the place where you were born and raised?
Well, very close to it. It actually does fall under Kent. So Belvedere, which means beautiful view, but the view was slowly becoming an industrial estate over time. So that's where I was born, and so it used to be like because the River Thames is there, and that's more closer to the southeast of England. Southeast of London. So it was a lot more closer to London. So where I am now is a bit further out. Is a bit more quiet. Although there is, I was always been around sort of like nature, like where my mum used to live and we used to live together. She still lives there. So when I visit, there's a big park, and like my school days were spent in that park. After school, it was in the park, and there was woods there, and every now and again I like to visit and just have a little wander back down there as well. So connect with the energy.
Crazy. So, Kambo, just before double check, so your name is Kambo, yeah? I'm saying right, Kambo?
Yeah, you can call me Cam. Yeah.
Cam.
So,
Cam. Okay.
so basically, yeah, my name is Cam Dadwa, and in the financial industry, which is where I spent most of my time doing work as a stock market trader, derivatives trader, since 2003. I started doing some coaching and training sort of around 2005, 2006, and that sort of really bloomed into quite a big system. And a business, and that still runs, but I tend to not spend so much time not as much time as I used to. Like I've put a lot of courses and things together, and so they sort of they're done, and the courses it's like my legacy. I like to spend time with something and leave something behind because we're not here forever, right?
Right. So walk me through a little bit about your career as a personal coach and also an author.
Yeah. So it all started, I suppose. I mean, my journey. I think the best place to start, because this plays a big part with this, is actually a book that this one. I'll show you it. The Opening of the Third Eye by Dr. Douglas Baker.
Right.
And you can see it's got like a man with like all the chakras lit up, and there's this awakening with this pyramid above. So very symbolic. Obviously, first time they fell in my path was I used to play computer games as a kid. In this extension to where in my mother's house, so where I used to live and where I was raised up. So my dad died when he was by the age of 32, so very young. He had motor neuron disease from the age of 26. And so I only remember him disabled. So by the time he passed away, I was only like around 7 years old. So, but just before then, I had a big trip. Probably I spent about 7 or 8 months in India. So he was trying like alternative treatment because at that time he had ALS. ALS, you know, they're doing the ice bucket challenge for ALS not so long ago. So it's also known as motor neuron disease. And so, but he was a very spiritual man, and obviously he turned even more to God and spirituality as he became sick in his later years, so at a very young age, from like the age of 26. And what he left behind was, you know, wasn't here for a long time, but he left behind a legacy, you know. And I didn't know it at the time, but this book has become like that legacy, for example. That's why I brought it up, because everything I do is connected to this. Now, the book is... I found it first when I was 12 years old. It fell off my bookshelf when I was playing games. I was just going to the toilet there. So we had a toilet made downstairs and a bathroom downstairs because my dad was disabled. So this whole room was built for him. He used to live in there, basically. So because my mum she's only small, she's about 4'10", so she couldn't carry a grown man up and down the stairs every day. So realistically, they had to build something. So they built this whole building downstairs, like an annex from the house, an extension to the house, and he basically lived in there, and that's where I played computer games. And this book fell off my bookshelf when I was 12, and then again when I was 14 by itself. And I just picked it up, and there was loads of books there. It just happened to be the one that always fell off. Then the third time it happened, I was 15 years old, and I picked it up, and I basically never let go of it. I've held the book since, and I've actually got another version of it, because this is the original, and I'll put it in a cover because you can see it's so worn out because it's so old. It was written in 1978, which happens to be the year I was born. So I bought a copy of it, and I recommend this book. It's very, very deep for someone that's been reading when they're 15 years old. Very, very deep. I mean, even now, there's a lot of it I don't understand, and this is 30 years later. I'm now 45 years old. But interestingly, at the back of the book, my dad wrote a few words. You can probably see it there. He wrote it in Punjabi, because I'm Punjabi and Indian, and he wrote it in English. And I tried to translate it there because I was finding it difficult to understand what. I could figure out the first bit. It says, truth is high, higher still is truthful. And I couldn't figure out with the last bit because it was a bit scribbled out. So I couldn't figure out whether it said change or living. And then it took me a while to figure out it said living. So higher, truth is high, higher still is truthful living. And this sort of message stuck with me for a long time, but I didn't really pay so much attention until I would say about 7 years ago, when I started to really get tested myself, you know, the trials and tribulations. So I had a business, everything was successful, but I got involved in drinking a lot of alcohol and doing and partying all the time. The money got to my head, you know, so I was making money, spending it all, but and all the time I had this spiritual path. I was doing yoga, meditation, doing qigong, you know. I was been a martial artist since I was 7 years old. I started with karate and boxing when I was 11. Then I really took to Wing Chun Kung Fu, which I still talk about and teach a little bit now in my classes. But it taught me about qigong, which was internal martial arts, not just the external hitting things, but the internal martial arts, right? The battle within. And it introduced me to chi energy. So this is when I was 14 years old. I became an instructor by the time I was 19. But I was also at university at the same time. So I was trying to juggle both. And then when I got into work, doing my own thing, that sort of really took over. So it became all about making money. You know, I wasn't going to make a living from running a few classes because it was under another company anyway. It wasn't my business. It was United Kingdom Wing Chun Kung Fu Association. So I was basically, you know, only going to take a small cut of my class. And then you got to get multiple branches, you know. At that point in time, you know, my mum obviously was left with 3 children. I was the youngest of the 3. And my brother was 3 years older than me. He was always a bit more problematic. Had a lot of anger. I think it was all this past trauma he hadn't processed because he must have been 10, 11 years old when my dad passed away. So it was much more in his mind. So to the point where, you know, when we would talk all the time, because he was suffering from depression as well. So, you know, to cut a long story short, because it is a very long story, and I'm giving you the But basically, my brother passed away 5 years ago. So it's 2018. So that was from depression and alcohol addiction and drug abuse. And this is a wake up call for me. And I realized the importance of the energy work stuff that I was doing. And it saved me. So, it saved me, but it wasn't able to save my brother. So what I do now is really sort of focus on helping those that think they don't have anything other than like drugs and alcohol to go to, or there are very simple ways to heal and overcome trauma.
See, okay. So during the journey, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your career and also about your joys in life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I've got here my best friend, okay? Okay, full of fun questions. I'm just going to play a song now just for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay? Let's do it. Right, so before we start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about, some reason you don't want to answer, I always can change, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. First question for you is, what do you like the most in your best friends?
What do I like the most in my best friends? I would say that their honesty, integrity, loyalty as well is very important to me. Having friends that are loyal. My best friends are the ones that have been with me like a long time. Okay, we make a lot of friends in life, and only some really reveal themselves to be the true ones. There are unfortunately people out there which will take advantage of you, and you have to set boundaries, and we learn this through life. But I've always been a very open person, a very friendly person naturally, and very social. So when you're like that naturally, it's important to do that. So my best friends, their quality has always been that loyalty. We don't have to see each other for, it's unconditional love. Like we don't have to see each other every day or call each other to prove that we're friends. Like my best friends, we just know that we're there. And I would probably there's two main groups of my best friends. There's the younger group, and then there's the older group. The older group will be my brother's best friends, because we always had the same friends, because we were basically like best friends. So his friends are still my best friends, and then I have my group of friends a bit my age and a bit younger as well. And they're sort of like but they do integrate. But I sort of I connect with different groups of friends, and I will call them very good groups of friends. And again, at any time, if I wanted to call them right now, they will be available. Like because we don't call each other all the time, because we don't feel like we don't have to prove to each other that we're there for each other. So if we do receive a call from each other, it'll be like, we know it's for a reason, okay? Or it's because we're trying to meet up, because it's usually the time. Okay, well, obviously we do just connect, and we always have our little WhatsApp groups these days, right? To stay connected in this busy day and age where everyone's doing their own things, have their own children and everything.
I think best friends, you don't choose friends. Don't go around saying, "Oh, you're gonna be my best friend." When the chemistry is there, it's like a relationship. It just happens naturally. You know what I mean? Yeah. When the connection is there, that's it. The bond started. That's how I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I was just saying to my daughter the other day, because she's at primary school. My son's just started secondary school, so he's going to the next school. And saying that, secondary school, that's that time, high school, that's when you often will meet the friends they're your friends for life, basically. Because those connections we do build as teenagers, that they tend to stick for life. Like most of my best friends, I've known them since I was a teenager. Like there are the odd few which are new friends that I've met as I've been, in my more adult years. But the best ones are the ones that you've pretty much been with since you was children. Like they don't go; they remain friends forever.
They knew you very well.
Yeah.
Next question. Hey, Kambo from England. Next question is, which book had a big influence on you?
Well, I've just said this one, so the opening of the third eye by Dr. Douglas Baker, but he's wrote a few more. But another one I would say, okay, because it happens to be right here, Bruce Lee, the artist of life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this is a fantastic book. It's more, it talks a lot about philosophy, the Taoist way. It's not just about kung fu. He was very much into philosophy, and he talks about Rene Descartes and his opinions on certain things. But Bruce Lee was an artist of life. Again, he passed away was when he was only at the age of 32, right? A lot of people tend to be great people tend to be taken at that age for some reason. 32, and he was a big influence in my life because he also studied Wing Chun Kung Fu, which is the same style that I learned when I was 14 years old. So he also became a mixed martial artist. He created his own style, Jeet Kune Do. But he was a true artist of life. So when we say martial arts is a way of living. It's a lifestyle. So and he expressed that with in even his movies, you know, like The Game of Death, which he even directed. He was in that short period of time, you know, from becoming a movie star in Hong Kong to Hollywood with the Enter the Dragon, leaving us with that. You know, he's often referred to as the king of martial arts. You know, and we have mixed martial arts everywhere these days, but really the core of that was Jeet Kune Do, which is what he was trying to do. He was saying this is not a new style. This is bringing other styles together. And I approach spirituality the same way. Bring things together, like unite things. You know, yoga and qigong. They can complement each other. In my promotion qigong system, they do. So you know, it's like be daring, be unique, be different. Like we are the true joy is in self-expression, and we will all create something very unique if we continue to be like artists of life. So
Very good. Next question. Let's do it. Right, so before the next question, tell me what's the best joy of being a life coach? What's the biggest joy of it? And the flip side, what do you find most challenging?
yes, I've been coaching, as I said, in multiple industries, so financial traders. Because I was in that business myself, it made sense because I became a certified therapist in neurolinguistic programming and timeline therapy back in 2005. And then I loved it so much, I became a master certified NLP timeline therapist. So I used those techniques. I initially learned it for myself. I wanted to understand because trading business, losing money on a consistent basis is a part of the job. Right? You don't make money every day. You have to, so like losing money is hard for us. Okay, you know, making money long term in that business takes getting good at losing money. So that is like not how our minds are made up. So we have to do a lot of unconscious reprogramming, and then NLP timeline therapy helped me do that. So I was helping other traders do this, and the refreshing thing is that for me, what I tend to coach and teach is stuff that I've got experience in. So I don't, you know, whereas a lot of people just regurgitate stuff from books. I will have to have some practical experience in whatever it is. So, you know, for example, NLP timeline therapy, I had to have practical experience in applying those concepts with myself as a financial trader to know what works for, because not everything would apply to financial traders because it's a very broad modality. It applies to everything and everyone really. So it's a manual for your mind. But now I've learned also when I've been working with people that are suffering like depression, going through a spiritual awakening, you know, people end up, you know, being diagnosed with emotionally unstable personality disorder, depression. I've got these labels. I've been labeled as emotionally unstable personality disorder, depressive disorder, and these are all just labels. I realize, you know, you can get hooked up on that. You can get hooked, and then you get the pills, the drugs to try to, you know, you think it's like a solution to your problem, and you realize after a while it's not. And you know, for me, finding natural ways for healing myself and not relying on prescription drugs was a big thing. And that was my qigong, my martial arts, this whole mindset that I teach. And what's most refreshing for me is being able to help people go through that, especially knowing my brother couldn't, because he died. Basically, it's depression that killed him. We go to coping mechanisms like like self-medicate through alcohol, drugs, smoking. These are coping mechanisms, but there are other coping mechanisms, and anything that can help you cope is worth teaching. And if you've coped through something like losing loved ones, overcoming depression, things that other people are suffering from worldwide and don't really know how to resolve it. For me, that's why I do what I do. This is what I would do dying until I'm on my deathbed, because that's what is true wealth. I can make all the money I like in the stock markets, but the true wealth is in the heart when you live, that truth, unconditional love. But we talk about love, but is the majority of people living that, expressing that? The truth is higher, higher still is truthful living. So for me, it's about living that, because that's where the true joy is, in expressing that love from your heart in whatever you do, making music, making paintings, doing videos, doing interviews. This is an art, right? When every time I talk, it's an art. It's like free flow state. Just let it go, let it flow, kind of thing, right? And this is what I kind of try to sort of teach my students as well. And yes, there's nothing more for me. There's nothing more satisfying than the testimonials I get from people. I mean, I've had people in my classes who are just suffering from things that nobody else was able to help them with, right? And to be able to be the person that was able to help them, there's nothing better.
Right. Yeah. Next question is, what's the best gift have you ever received, and from whom?
Best gift? I would say the compassion and kindness my wife shows me, really. I would say more important than anything else. Like when I'm my toughest times, that's who got me through, So having that, because I'm a very much naturally very energetic, very fiery kind of personality. Okay. And we've got to find that balance. And sometimes, some people look for the opposite, or people to be the same. They say, like, you got to be alike. And quite often that causes clashes in people. So me and my wife, like, she's like the water energy, very soft, calm, kind, caring. And, I've always been the more fire. We all have those qualities, but sometimes you need the water by the side of fire to put it out. So she's shown me, like, when I was going through my toughest times, helped me through. So that support goes a long way. Just being someone, having that in your own house is very important. Someone that you can open up to, speak to. So the greatest gift is having that kindness, compassion, caring kind of person right there. There's no better gift.
What's the biggest difference between both of you, and the biggest similarity?
I would say the biggest similarity is that we both like our own space, which is important. Because we both live together, and we with our children. Okay, we've got two children. One's 9 and one's 11 years old, and 2 cats. Okay, we've got a cat called Garfield, which we've had. He's 2 years old, and we adopted a kitten 10 weeks old not long ago, actually, just a couple of weeks ago. So this family's getting bigger. But what we all like, even my children, my house is big enough. We can be in the same room, but we won't be in each other's energetic space all the time. Like, we can feel like we're at peace amongst each other, where sometimes, people are very much needy, or like you've got to prove that you're there together. It's not like that. There's no having to. It's very unconditional, and that's what allows it to be very a lot of people say to me, like, you work at home, you both work at home, you're always together, you go shopping together, you go trips together, you must get on each other's nerves. And really, no, you don't, because that's how you got a real relationship, because you learn that you just understand each other well enough. You're willing to, and that's why we're together so long. She allows for me to have my own space to meditate. She understands that I need my time to do my qigong, my classes. Never really ever been caught an issue. Like, she knows I've got to do my work with clients. It's always like, if I'm going doing my stuff, there's no, like, wherever I might be in the house, okay, one of the rooms, Okay, I'll be somewhere. I'll be in the garden, or I'll be going for a walk in the countryside. I'll be in my office, here. But my children are very much the same. They like their own space. My daughter like to be, we all like to get together, but we don't have to be there all the time together, if that makes sense. And this makes a big difference. It makes because I'm that kind of person. She's like that kind of person. She likes to have her own space. She likes to just be in a room by herself, away from the children and me at times. And I think everyone needs their own space. A lot of people sometimes don't. Sometimes feel like they get their own space, and I think sometimes you just need to make space for yourself, even if it's just an hour a day, away from everyone and everything, even your own family. It makes a big difference. For me, peace of mind. People try to meditate. To really truly let go and surrender, you've got to have that quiet space.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
2 questions left. Let's do it. Right, before the next one, yes, you can dance with me. You can show me your moves.
If you watch my Instagrams, I'm always dancing, right? So
amazing.
It's my thing.
I think dancing it's a way of energizing yourself, your soul.
Yeah.
It makes you feel great about it. It's like singing. Once somebody told me when you sing, you pray twice. And I think dance is the same thing as well. When you dancing, it's sharing the best energy you can. I even got goosebumps now saying that. It's very powerful.
Yeah.
Before the next question, tell me about your book, Live the Dream.
Oh yeah, I've got it here. All my books are here, nice and handy. Live the Dream. So I wrote this back in 2021. It's a guide to enlightenment and freedom from the matrix. And this is basically my channeled concepts. And I say channeled, basically I discovered my abilities. Everybody has abilities, when you awaken your third eye, as I was saying. I spent like 30 years working on this. So with certain exercises like meditation, breathing exercises, on a consistent basis, this third eye keeps awakening, our consciousness keeps awakening. And I had a very profound experience start around 2015. And this is where it can be a bit of a turbulent time, for many people, because you've got to work for your dark side as well. You've got to work through what's been holding you back, what the things we don't often want to face, referred to as our shadow sometimes, our shadow self, what we've repressed, past negative experiences like losing my dad, losing my brother, things like, we have to face them at some point. Otherwise, they're energetically, we hold on to them. So we need to release and understand these energies and heal. And as I was going through my healing journey, so from 2015, what I would call my Kundalini energy started to activate and awaken, and I had an out-of-body experience, a really profound experience where I went out of body. My whole body felt like it was being electrocuted when I was doing qigong, and my hands become like, almost like one of those like characters you get in the movies with their hands with a ball of electricity. And I just felt like this, like a god, a living god. So I've got this energy, huge amount of energy, and learning to live with that it takes time. Okay, so your insights go off like on a different level, energy. So your consciousness goes on a different level. You access consciousness beyond your own. Intelligence is beyond your own. Now, during this whole process, and then it came to a climax in 2021. Which is, I believe it took 6 years to get through the remaining 6 chakras, because it starts at the root. So whilst you get the Kundalini awakening experience on that day when it happens, you've got to sort of travel through each chakra and understand each level of state of consciousness and find your way back up where you went before. So in a way, you've sort of gone to heaven and you've come back. So this book was based upon the concept of this being a dream consciousness. So it became very, very real and true for me that this isn't as real as we thought it was. It's very much like a temporary dream, like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, that movie. She gets hit on the head and the whole movie's a film. A whole movie's a dream. And then she realizes when she wakes up. And then in an essence, that's like what I believe, that I've come to understand. Our soul is eternal and we are in this dream. Okay, and this is why many dreams don't last that long, right? My dad, Bruce Lee, my brother, he was only 43 years old when he passed away. I'm 45 now. Okay, so of course we have a part to play with that, but some people don't. Some people's lives. What about these children that are born and die before they've even had a chance to live their lives? So but there is an experience without a doubt, and that experience, however long it is or short it is, we must enjoy it. Um, and that was the main realization I come from. What I would call in my enlightenment is that it's not about going anywhere. It's about living with that heavenly mind here. Like, bring it into earth, because this is where the action's at. We're here for a reason. And many people want to like escape this and think Matrix is being here is a bad thing kind of thing. And I realized, and I started to buy into that stuff. And this whole realization came very profoundly. And I was in a different state of mind for like 40 days or so. And that's when I channeled everything that was in this book and the concepts. And it's actually when the Mind of Matter Instagram page started. So that was June 2021, which is now just over 95,000 followers. On Facebook is over 100,000 followers. And it all started with this idea and this book. And then that message was the main message initially. And then I started to bring more my Qigong, my practical stuff into it. What got me to the Kundalini awakening? What got me through it? Okay, so then I started to realize many people are going through a Kundalini awakening and not really understanding how to handle these energies and master these energies. So now I've made it my lifelong commitment to help people through that, because again, not many people do have the right guides, and most of the stuff that's out there is just regurgitating stuff from books, and whereas I like to talk from experience.
I see. All right. Next question is, what does family mean to you?
Family for me is everything. We have a list of values. So I said I'm a NLP timeline therapist. Neuro-linguistic programming teaches us that perception is a projection. How we see the world out here is based upon how we filter that information. So everything is information. And the way we filter it is based upon beliefs, values, and past memories. This is how we form our perceptions, based what we believe and what we value. What we value is what we think is important. Now, on top of my list of my values, every time I've done my work on understanding my values, has always been family. And it's always been the number one motivator for me, okay? Family is important. Like for me, I do, live and die for my family kind of thing. So like when my mum was struggling, it's that pain when she was working 7 days a week to bring up 3 children. I could see that pain and suffering as a teenager when I was growing up. So when I was in a position to work, my first job was a DJ when I was 15 years old. I went to the pub, I started DJing, I was working from a very young age, and because I was always trying to provide, I wasn't the oldest. I had an older brother and an older sister, but I felt that I had this duty. My sister got married by the time she was 19. She moved to the north of England. My brother was always like a problematic case, so I had to become like the man of the house very quickly kind of thing. And so family to me, that is such a strong commitment, that it for me, there's nothing more important. Like, it's all for family. Like, even businesses, why do I do the work that I do? Okay, yes, I want to help people, but in terms of making a living and making money, it's about what am I leaving behind, like legacy, children. Like, again, we're not here forever. It's important to make sure that our children have a foundation. And so, I will be leaving, like my dad, when he passed away, he left a house behind, right? My mom was at least had a house, right? So mortgage free, so, me, I bought my house 10 years ago, and I live here in the countryside now. And things like this, like these are things you leave behind. And the reason I do my work, even the Mind of Matter, okay, my book, these are things they will echo through time, like beyond ourselves, right? The most influential people, they haven't been on earth that long. Jesus Christ, Bruce Lee, right? They weren't on earth that long, but they're immortal in a sense, because their word lives and echoes through time, right? And we all have that ability to we all have that ability, and if we can put the right things in place, like my children may not really understand. I teach them a bit of breath work and meditation. They might not understand the full extent of what I do, but they will at some point at least be able to look back and say, oh, this is what our dad was about. This is what he done, right? This is what he left behind. So, and that motivates me as well. So it's not about you. I'm saying this is always about the bigger picture.
Absolutely. Cool.
Yeah.
Ready for the last one?
Yeah, sure.
Last question. Let's do it. Yes, now remember now, when I was watching some of your videos, I could see the beginning, you have the time of your life dancing. I remember now, mention about dancing. Right. Last question is, who are you most thankful for and why?
Oh, easy one. The divine, God. Without God, whatever you want to call it, your higher self, people, I'm born a Sikh, and that's why I work Kara, Waheguru. Waheguru means the wondrous enlightener or the eternal guru. Okay. To me, there is only one true guru, and that is God. Okay. Everything I learn and understand about myself is through the help of this divine essence of all that is. Okay. My mother taught me importance about faith, right? And because that's what got her through. She always used to say, without God, I wouldn't have made it through. Without God, I never made it through. So what helped? I've got the proof. The proof is in the pudding. I've seen what my mother has been through and what she's got through and how she's come out. So there's never been any doubt that there's a divine force that we can all connect with, and it can help in our darkest times. Okay, and it's just a matter of surrendering and letting go, and being embraced by the presence of all that is. So for me, everything I do is by the grace of God. Like even when I teach, I try to put what I think I am aside. I tend to just sort of open myself up and channel this divine essence, this energy that I know I'm connected to, and this is why I do the energy work, and I help other people connect with this. Because some people say I believe in God, I have faith in God, and I believe you can actually just know, you can truly know God without a doubt. You can feel it in your heart. There's no one has to prove it to you. Okay, and you just know. I'm sure you yourself are doing what you do because you have been provided some kind of guidance to do this. I can see it in your eyes, right? So that's force is the most important thing to me.
Very good. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay? Let's start with money.
What word for money?
Yeah, one word.
Abundance.
Family.
Love.
Life.
Live.
One word for love.
One word for love.
Yeah.
Unconditional.
Sex.
Union.
Politics.
Debate.
Religion.
Connection.
One word for fear.
Doubt.
Friendship.
Honesty.
Desire.
Legacy.
One word for regret.
It's a hard one. Regrets. I would say pain because shouldn't have any regrets. No regrets, I say.
Absolutely. One word for wish.
For wish.
Yeah.
To dream.
Happiness.
Joy.
One word for personal coach.
One word for personal coach.
Yeah.
Motivation.
One word for England.
Countryside.
And the last one now, live the dream. One word, your book.
Let go. Oh, one word again.
It's okay.
Release.
Okay, amazing. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your lovely wife for a coffee, and I'm going to ask her, what is the most beautiful thing about Camp, and what's something that he still needs to work on, to improve on? What should say?
I think she would say the greatest thing about me is the ability to make her laugh. Like when I'm not trying to make her laugh, she always says, "When I'm trying to be funny, I'm not funny." When I'm not trying to make her laugh, and I'm just being me, she finds me funny. Uh, but one thing that I can always work on is, and I've got very good at it, is frustration. Just being frustrated with something not going my way. I've
Right.
always liked things going my way, and I've got better with it because we've learned that they don't. Right? They don't always go your way. There's your way, and then there's God's way, and sometimes they don't align. And sometimes what your soul needs is not necessarily what your ego wants. And she's taught me along the way. You know, we've been together since 2007. And along the way, I've learned. I can look back and I can see where my ego was and where it is now.
Amazing. What's your star sign, Camp?
I'm an Aries.
Interesting. Oh, wow. March?
Yes, March the 28th.
Amazing. Okay, let's play now, Camp and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But okay, you can ask me a question now.
Okay. What has been your greatest motivation?
Right. It's a great question, and I'm gonna answer in two different parts. Okay, the first part is I love waking up every morning. I have such a genuine natural energy during the morning that's people who knows me, they go like, my goodness, where does energy come from? As soon as I wake up, I start my day. I had my shower. When I leave the door, you have no idea. I feel like this freshness of the air in the morning, it motivates me so much. I feel like, my goodness, it's a new day starting. And seriously, this moment for me, it's a moment where motivates me the most. I just feel so fresh and so full of power to start this day. My energy is just like all the place. That's why I go to the gym early morning, because this energy is just to give away this energy, because there's so many energy in the morning. So always being an early bird. So I love waking up in the morning, and that's the biggest motivation. And the other part of the answer is the magic box. You have no idea, Kamba. I wake up every single morning. I go to bed every single night thinking about the magic box.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. If I'm eating, I'm thinking about that. If I'm showering, if I'm traveling, if I'm everything I'm doing, there is this thought about, okay, who I'm going to connect today, who I'm going to share some experience with, who I'm going to make memories, who's going to be the show today. So all this energy, it's about the magic box. So since the magic box came into my life, it's the best gift I ever received, because it feeds my soul. The same passion I could see you talking about your career, about your teaching, your life, everything. It's the same feeling I feel every time, when not just when I'm doing the interview, but when I'm creating the thumbnails, when I'm connecting with my guests, when I'm in touch with them, when I start the first contact, it's already for me a memory starting. So yeah, I think waking up every morning and leave the door, seeing the day starting, and also doing the interviews for the Magic Box is the biggest motivation in my life, for sure.
Fantastic. Yeah, I like what you said about the morning, because this is one thing that I've realized. I developed this system called MX6, which is 6 M's, and the first one is morning. Morning motivation, uh, meditation, music, meditation, mindset. So those are the 6 M's. But the first one is morning. Like, so many people think, like, how do I get out of depression? I'm sad. A lot of people tend to forget that the biggest symptom for people that are depressed is that they don't want to get out of bed, or they don't want to feel like they want to be alive, right? So, it can be to the point where they're so down that they're suicidal. But just getting up and getting moving makes a big difference. Like, just get up earlier. I said, get up earlier before you start everything else. Give yourself an hour, like, just to yourself. And this is what I started to do when I was suffering from depression, because I've been labeled a depressive, but I really went back into depression when my brother passed away, and I was struggling to get that motivation. And just simply just get yourself up, just wake up, and get moving, and that fresh air will make you feel alive again, right?
It's so powerful. It's so
So
powerful.
powerful. So simple, but so powerful. Just like, you don't need antidepressants. Just get up and go for a walk, like 20, 30 minutes.
So true. It's so
Yeah.
true. I remember once, like when I was a teenager growing up, I remember I had a good friend of mine, her parents, they were into astrology, spiritualism. They were very spiritual. I remember that. And once they told me, William, 6 a.m. in the morning, like people, I remember they used to open their windows, their doors around this time because they said there's energy around the words just flowing. I never forget that. And I think now growing up, now as a grown up person, I understand what they meant. This energy in the morning, it's just a way, as you said, if you are feeling, I know it's not easy to wake up. I'm saying that, but it's hard. When my alarm goes off at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning, of course, I go like, oh my God, I feel like I could stay an hour more in the bed. But as soon as I start getting out, get myself prepared, when I leave the door, it's like, oh my God, that's such a nice feeling. That's how it started. Yeah, I truly believe that. Did you enjoy the interview?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, fantastic, my friend. I love what you're doing. So the passion clearly shows.
Thank you. Thanks so much for taking the time. I wish we could have more time to explore more about your life. But in the future, we're going to have the second interview and we can touch more in different topics.
Of course, yeah.
Before you go, Camp, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
I would leave you with this quote: "The truth is high, higher still is truth for the living." Because for me, it took such a long time to get that quote and understand it. I think because everyone will discover truths, right? The truth. What is the truth? Well, the truth is whatever you believe to be true, really, and everyone can believe something different. But whatever you believe, if it motivates you, if it inspires you, if it helps you and helps others, believe in it. Right? It doesn't matter what anybody else says, believe it. And if you believe it enough, live it. Like the most important thing is to live that truth, so it becomes true. Okay, it becomes true. So if because there are many things you're going to hear in this world, but and so many people pick up knowledge. They've learned a lot of stuff which could be truths. Okay, but if you haven't experienced it, it's not necessarily become a truth for you. It's somebody else's truth. So you have to live it for it to become a truth for you, right? So the truth is high. Higher still is truth for living. So there are universal truths, of course, which apply to everyone. Like we have to breathe air, otherwise we're dead. Okay, there's day, there's night. There's universal truths no one can deny, right? There's existence, there's non-existence, right? There's these energies, right? There's what we call good and bad, the polarities. But there's always various perceptions. As I said, perception is a projection because everyone has differing beliefs, values. People have different ideas of what is important. So that everyone's seen this whole world in a different way. So I always say, figure out what is true for you and make sure you connect with it and live it out, like experience that truth.
Amazing. Perfect. Thanks so much. Regards to your family, and you keep in touch, okay, Camp? It was a pleasure, okay?
Yeah, no problem, William. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.